Hey y'all, so I am back with new guitar day. This is not a Gibson. This is the Harley Benton EX84. Take the little tuner off here, and as you know, black guitars go, they get a little smudgy. I tried to clean it a little bit. I've had it for a couple weeks now, and I'm going to give you my pros and cons of the Explorer. First, let's just hear it through the amp I have it set at. Set on. I'm playing through a Marshall Origin 20, a Harley Benton cabinet with a Celestion Vintage 30 is what it says. And I'm running through a pedal board. I've got some compression. I have a little bit of reverb. Here's dry. I always like a little bit of reverb, so that's a lot. Bring that down just a little bit. But this is got the EMG 85, I believe, in the bridge and 60 in the neck position. And here's just a little bit of the bridge without any. My Marshall is set with the gain cranked, but this is the Origin, so it doesn't really have a lot of gain. So, but with the, I guess with the EMGs, it's a little more, got a little more drive. Here is the neck pickup. I bought it, and then I watched another YouTuber, and he was playing through an Orange, and he was complaining that this has way too much bass. It's too bassy sounding. And I got it and plugged it in, and sure enough, to my taste, my liking, here is my normal drive that I normally use. It's a British. But what I did was I had to crank, well, I moved my highs up. On my amp, I adjusted the tone. Pretty much the tone is, if I can see it from here, the treble is about almost, it's like 230. So the tones is pretty high right now, but still in my ears, it's still pretty bassy. So that was one of my just minor complaints, is that the pickups are very, very I don't want to say dull, but they're not designed per se for like Doom type, you know, style stuff. I mean, can you play Doom on it? Sure. It may, some people may really like the darker sound of that. see here, this rat may be a little loud. So in my ears, yes, it's a lot bassier than I was anticipating. So there is a workaround. Obviously, you can get an EQ pedal, crank your I think it's your 2K a little bit. You'll circumvent that really fast. On your, like if you're using a gain pedal, a distortion pedal, add a little more treble. You can lower your bass, and that's fine. If you have the luxury of using a different amp, I have, you've probably seen in maybe one of my older videos, I actually have a Spark amp, and let's go ahead and plug that in. And for fun, I found a Metallica typesetting. Sorry, looking at my my guitar. Let's turn that up a little bit more. The thing with the Spark is if you don't set your levels on the preset, even if you mess with the top, you every time I turn the preset on, I have to end up turning up the treble a little bit. There we go. So anyway, with this guitar, I would definitely recommend that if you're using, kind of a Marshall type tone, you're probably going to need a drive pedal or distortion pedal that's going to give you that high-end boost that you might want. I don't know the quality of these EMGs. I'm not an expert on what an EMG is supposed to sound like. Now, I did do a sound comparison with my friend. I sent him a video, not a video, I sent him some audio, and I was testing this one compared to this one. This one's got Roswell pickups in it, and this one's got the EMGs. And when I played him the samples, I said, which one do you think is the Harley Benton EX84? And he actually picked the other one. And that was a little disappointing because I spent more money on this than I did on that. Probably 150 more. So that was a little bit of a bummer. Now, with that being said, I have not changed the strings out. I haven't done any polishing of the fretboard, which it really doesn't look like it needs polishing. I mean, it actually looks pretty good. It doesn't need anything special. So, I haven't put new strings on my normal, style strings. I planned on trying to find some James Hetfield style, the Het Set strings by Ernie Ball, but apparently either they were only a limited edition run or they just don't have any in stock anywhere. But I was going to put those on. I found some fatties, I think Ernie Ball makes, so I might put those on. But with the bigger strings, I'm probably going to get even bassier sound So, but you know, I definitely recommend if you're shooting for this guitar, you're wanting, you know, the James Hetfield look, or you're just wanting an explorer type look, then this would probably, I mean, it's a good guitar. It's something that would probably fit with what you're wanting. But if you're wanting to play something a little different, you might have to EQ your boards a little bit, especially if you're used to playing, say, hard rock or doom or something, you know, that's not like thrash and not like, you know, extreme metal or something. This neck is like a baseball bat. I've got big hands, and this reminds me of an SG, pale and blue SG I had. The neck feels like a baseball bat. So if you're not into the baseball bat thing, this isn't the guitar for you. The other thing that I noticed that is kind of different, I've never played an Explorer for more than, you know, 10-15 minutes at a guitar store. So I was interested with this being sitting where, you know, my arm is here. And I get, you know, I'm a little older, so my arm, I get a little bit of shake sometimes. So I thought, you know, having some place to rest my arm could help me with some down picking or chugs or, you know, gallop. And I'd say it does, but the weird thing is that either you're playing this guitar and you're kind of playing it out from your body this way, or you're shifting it this way so it sits kind of how you might play a V. And my not the greatest chugs, or over here. But it doesn't want to sit where I'm used to, right here. And it kind of has this belly cut, but the belly cut it's kind of there. It's not here. And you know, I predominantly have played SGs, LPs, and Strats. So I'm not used to where this sits. So again, if you're not a usual Explorer or V type player, that might become an issue for you. It's taken me a while. I'm not fully converted. Honestly, since I've had this, I mean, it sounds great. It plays pretty well. I mean, it's got a big old fat neck on it, so you know. But I haven't been like, man, I really want to play that guitar. It's been sitting in my stand a little bit. I actually boxed it back up for a little bit because the other downside is putting this in a normal guitar case isn't going to happen. I thought maybe I have a bigger one that I put my tellies in, and nope, this had about maybe 4 or 5 inches sticking out, so it wasn't going to work. I knew that going in, so I wasn't surprised, but I was just kind of being maybe a little more hopeful that that would actually work. So the guitar itself, this was a B stock, and the only blemish I've had or noticed was up in here, and you're not going to be able to see it, but there's just a little bitty, maybe doesn't feel like a dent. It looks like just maybe where the line, where the fretboard is. It's hard to explain, but just right there, there's a little discolorization. And as far as a B stock, everything else has been good. Another key thing is when you have a guitar like this, make sure you change out the battery. This battery was in there. I was jamming on this guitar about a week ago, and for some reason, I mean, it just died. And I was like, what's the deal? Was it a cable? Was it a patch cable? You know, what's the problem? And, you know, lo and behold, it's the battery. So thankfully I had a couple of replacements. So I put some in. But it is a super basic guitar. There is no push-pull pots to get yourself. The EMGs, I guess, don't split. These don't. Maybe they make a pair that does, but these don't. So the other little bummer, and this was me, I admit it, when I was looking at these guitars, I noticed, you know, I had looked at their vintage version, which they have like it's kind of a wood grain colored one. And then I was looking at this one, and I was looking at another model that had the Roswell EMG pickups in it. And I got a little confused. So I thought this one came with the Grover locking tuners. It doesn't. I think it's the vintage one. I think it's around 250 or so on the Thomann site. If you're wanting locking tuners, that does not come with the EX84 with the EMGs. So, you know, do your homework a little better than I did and save yourself some money. I am still warming up to this guitar. I might end up selling it. And that is the one situation that you might get with a Thomann guitar or a Japanese made guitar. I think this one's made in Indonesia. Yeah, made in Indonesia. Is that the resale value on these aren't going to be as high in some cases as some other guitars. I knew that going in. I knew that buying, you know, this ESP style, not ESP, I can't even think of it, PRS style guitar cost me $166 brand new, and the shipping at that time was only like $32. So I got that style guitar for $200. I knew going in that if I put that on like Craigslist or something, I'm not going to get the money that I would want out of it. And, you know, somebody's probably going to be like, yeah, I know the guitar is worth, you know, you bought it brand new for $160. I'll give you 80 for it, you know? And it's like, no, it's a really good playing guitar. So that's the one thing with these is that I would think that being able to resell it is probably not going to be like, probably not going to get what I paid for it, even though it is a really well playing guitar. So anyway, a little more sound samples. So overall, it's a nice guitar. It sounds good if you're using the right amp. The pickups sound pretty good. I could have saved a little money and just used this one and maybe put some better tuners on it. With that one, I had some issues with tuning, but I did lube the nut so that it's way better, so it sounds better. But is it is it worth the money? I paid, it was $350 shipped. So it was a B stock. I think it was like $279 plus like 60 something dollars in shipping. Yes, I think it's worth it. Am I going to want to play this much? I don't know. I think I'm probably going to try to find myself another Les Paul style guitar. So that's probably what I'm going to look to do. I may try to sell this. I may try to like warm up to it a little more. You never know. But typically with me, I do have a few guitars. You know, they're all cheaper, but you know, you tend to lean toward the ones that you really feel comfortable playing. And so I haven't really warmed up to this yet. So anyway, is it worth it? I think so. Pay attention to the details and the description. A lot of times, you know, at one point, these may have had locking tuners on it, and I just didn't notice it changed. You know, pay attention to that. And that's about all I got on this one. Would I buy another Explorer? I don't think so, but this was a good opportunity to try and explore for the first time. And that's kind of the reason why I bought it. I mean, I've always liked the way Explorers looked, but I've never had one. So that's kind of why I got in. I wanted to get into one a lot cheaper. I was actually looking at the ESP Snakebite guitar, and I knew if I was going to spend that kind of money, I better like it. So, but I tried this instead. So is it a good purchase? I think so. But you definitely have to be, in my opinion, somebody who enjoys this chunk of wood right here, and you know, it's sitting there on your arm and the way you play it. So anyway, I hope that helps you guys. Remember, there's always chances to buy these B stock, save yourself money. I've never had any problem with B stocks. I think probably I have 5 Harley Bentons now, and I think 3 of them were B stocks, and I've had really, really good success. So anyway, save yourself the money, and take care, and subscribe if you want to, and God bless. Bye.